Guys, welcome to BBC Top Gear India. My name is Akash. Today we will be taking you through a very interesting motorcycle. This is the Royal Enfield Flying Flea. Now, an electric motorcycle from Royal Enfield, it's going to be the first. And we don't know the specs, we don't know what you're going to get. Don't ask us about battery, don't ask us about the range. I think what we know, if you can quickly come here, what is indicated is 75% pace, 75 kilometers of range. So this should give us an idea, but we can't set it in stone as this is not a production model as of now. But then let me take you through what all we know. So starting off the name with the Flying Flea. Now the Flying Flea was a bike that was dropped off from aeroplanes during World War II. The British used it to give their paratroopers, a sort of mode to access and ride around inside heartland of Germany. And the main use of the Flying Flea at that point of time was to send messages from troops, battalions to battalions, and if the radios did not work at that point of time, these were the bikes, or at least the Flying Flea was the bike that was used. 125cc two-stroke engine and had roughly 50 to 60 kgs of weight, which allowed them to throw it off airplanes. Now, I don't think this particular vehicle is going to be thrown off airplanes anytime soon, but then the one thing that they share with, from a very good design perspective, not only the sleek design look and everything, is the front suspension. If you see, the front suspension has been taken up from the old Flying Flea, has been inspired from there, and now has been introduced into 2025, and they say that it is better than telescopic suspension. Now, we have to find that out by riding it, so I will not, give you away of what the feel is. But apparently it is more sturdier and it is more rigid and it will take bumps a lot better than your normal telescopic suspension. What we see from the tires section also, it looks a little slick for my liking, but then it has cornering ABS. I'll come to that a little bit later. We can see standard brakes on this, and both the brakes will be used from here instead of, having one in the rear, in the foot peg area. And as you come to the side, you will see how sleek this motorcycle is. Now, the reason for it being sleek is because they are trying to introduce it to, a younger audience, so that they are not scared of, the experience of riding a motorcycle, and also that the design philosophy comes from the Flying Flea, which is a flea. So there's that. A very interesting thing that we had heard in the design segment was how this is shaped. Now, if you see the structure element of this, right? They said it's one stroke like this and another stroke like this. So these two elements basically made the entire motorcycle up. And also some quirky thing that they did was, so you see these fins, right? So they say that the bigger fins are actually the new age technology that they are trying to bring, and the smaller fins are actually the tradition. So by the time these new fins and the old fins meet somewhere here, it is technically the merge of the old, heritage and the new technology coming together, which is very interesting. I am not going to sit on the bike because this is a display model after all, so let me not disrespect the motorcycle like that. And as you can see, when it tapers off in the end, it's quite a sleek and slim motorcycle. Now, you may like it, you may dislike it, but that is all upon you and your personal taste. Aluminium everywhere. This is aluminium, and there is also parts of magnesium used in it, I think, for the battery cover, which is the ideal thing to use to make the entire vehicle very light and very nimble to a point. But apart from that, the design remains very simple, and it is kept simple for a reason, because Flying Flea. And now, if you want to see how is it from a rider's position, I would like to invite you here. So, let me take you through the riding position of it all. So, as you can see, you will be a little higher up watching this from this angle. You'll be holding your handlebars something like this. But what we want to showcase has something more brilliant. So, this element that you see is a completely round display, and they have had to rework whatever their current display was to make this happen. Now we have actually asked them whether this is just a screen mirroring or whether it is a lot more than that, because the Royal Enfields do have a problem with screen mirroring with the smartphone on and this happening. What they have told us is that the screen mirroring would still be a part of it, but then they are trying to make more upgrades into getting that entire ability come strong and not be a problem like you see in your Royal Enfield Himalayan. Now, this is also touch, by the way, so if you go to vehicle mode, you will see riding modes. You will see riding mode. So you have the eco mode, the rain mode, the touring mode, the off-road mode, the performance mode, and something really interesting, the custom mode. Now, if you go into custom mode, you will see that you can tune your ABS modes, which you can completely turn off with rear off or completely off. That is very unique. Then you have the traction control, then you have the power, then you also have on the side, if you can see, which is not going right now, but these are the region options, which is bonkers because there are so many options in this. And if you come down to the side and see, you have the cruise control, you have voice recognition, and you have your classic turn off and on, and also. So with all that said, there is a lot of tech in this motorcycle. And this can be a good selling point for this motorcycle because since it's electric, people do want things to have more technology. And I think this does provide quite a good amount of technology on the vehicle. Apart from that, there is not much to speak about because we do not have the information as of now. But what they also say is this, apart from it being an India-centric product, it is going to be working on the Northern America side and also in the European side. European side especially because they have restrictions according to what sort of, driving license category you're in. So if you're a starter, you'll be constricted to a single driving license category. So with that said, this motorcycle is going to make an impact for the learner's driving experience in Europe. And they feel that that is where the biggest impact is going to be made. Now, what do we expect from the motorcycle? I know none of the information has been given, but what we can expect is, well, I would hope it's nearly around 2 lakhs or a little lower. I hope that the battery pack is big enough that it gives around 120, 140 kilometers of range. And I am not hoping that's the IDC range because if it's IDC, you're expecting lesser than 100 kilometers. So if it has to be viable for the Indian condition and for the Indian public, I think it has to be a lot more than 120 kilometers. And one big thing, apart from the wireless charging that you can have, somewhere here will also be your charging cable which you included inside the motorcycle. So you do not have to carry it like other manufacturers that are there. It's included in it, and I feel if they can get this out in the market by 2026 with the charger included, what's wrong with what's not to have that? I just forgot something, but I really needed you to know. You see these front set foot peg, right? Now you can actually interchange this one, take it on the other side and take the other side on this side, and this will make a rear set foot peg out of it. So this is a brilliant type of modification that you can do, and it is very unnatural to see it in a Royal Enfield because their tradition do not ask for so many customization options. But then yes, you can make this a rear set foot peg. Also, this bike is under the name of Flying Flea, but it is not the name of this. The whole series of this motorcycle will be called the Flying Flea. Now there is a Flying Flea C6 and there's also a Flying Flea S6, which is the scrambler variant. Now that has USDs instead of this beautiful front suspension that you see, and that's the biggest difference. And it also has a flat seat. So we don't know much about that vehicle actually, but then that's what's the difference that we got from that vehicle and this vehicle. The whole perspective of having a big kit of charging cables which you have to log around in doesn't give you that good of an experience, and with it integrated inside the motorcycle, I feel that's a big boon. Apart from that, I really want to throw this off aeroplane to see whether it lives up to the Flying Flea name or not. But then with that said, I'll let you enjoy the B-rolls and stay tuned with Top Gear India, because as much we know, we'll let you know in the future. Thank you so much and keep watching.